I never thought a simple business decision would spiral out of control this way, but it did. It all started when I decided to partner up with my best friend, Jason. We'd been talking about doing something together 4 years ever since we were in college. The idea seemed simple: open up a small marketing agency, offer web design and branding services to local businesses, and make a solid living. No big risk, no big gamble. I thought I was making the right call. Looking back, I had no idea just how wrong I was. Jason was, well, he was my guy. We'd been through everything together. He knew me inside and out, and I thought I knew him just as well. We shared everything: the highs, the lows, the awkward moments, the jokes that no one else got. So, when he suggested that we merge our personal and professional lives, I didn't think twice. What's the worst that could happen? I thought, we'll make money and still be friends. At first, everything seemed perfect. We split responsibilities. I handled the client relations, the pitching, and the big picture, while he took care of the creative side. He was good at it better than I was. He was the one with the design skills, the artistic vision. I was more about the numbers, the logistics, and the connections. It was a good balance. But soon enough, I started noticing small things, tiny cracks in the foundation. Jason would cancel meetings at the last minute. He'd miss deadlines. At first, I brushed it off as stress, the pressure of running a business for the first time. But then it became more frequent. And then, without warning, it escalated. A few months in, our biggest client, the one that was paying us more than anyone else, dropped us. They wanted to go in a different direction. That was the official reason. But I had a gut feeling that Jason's recent behavior had something to do with it. His designs had started to feel off, sloppy even, and when I dug into the details, I found something disturbing. He'd been using work hours too. Let's just say, not work. I don't want to get into the specifics, but it was obvious he wasn't taking the job seriously anymore. I confronted him, of course, and as expected, he denied everything. It's just a rough patch, man, he said. You're being paranoid. But I knew it wasn't just a rough patch. I knew something else was going on. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I started keeping track of everything. I started checking his emails, his calendar, his calls. I wasn't proud of it, but it felt necessary. If this business was going to survive, I needed to know what was going on behind the scenes. What I found, well, it shocked me. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a complete fool, but Jason had been hiding something from me. He wasn't just neglecting the business, he was actively sabotaging it. I found evidence that he had been secretly meeting with a competitor, someone who had been eyeing our clients 4 months, and not just meeting, but making deals behind my back. When I confronted him with the evidence, his reaction was everything I feared. He didn't even try to deny it. In fact, he was oddly calm about the whole thing. It's not personal, man, he said. Like this was just some normal business decision. It's just business. I couldn't believe my ears. Now, I didn't know what to do. Jason was my best friend. We'd been through everything together. But here he was, betraying me like this. Looking back, I don't think I handled it as well as I should have. I was angry, furious. I had every right to be. But instead of confronting him head on, I let it stew. And that's when things started to spiral. I started distancing myself from him both professionally and personally. I stopped answering his calls, cancel plans. When we were in meetings together, I'd barely look at him. It wasn't even conscious at first. I didn't want to deal with him. But soon, the tension was impossible to ignore. And that's when things took another unexpected turn. Jason, seeing that I was pulling away, decided to retaliate in the only way he knew how. He started undermining me, in front of clients, in front of our team. He'd make small comments like how I was too much of a numbers guy, or how I couldn't understand the creative vision. He started calling me too corporate, too rigid. At first, I just let it slide. I didn't want to make things worse, but then it got worse. Jason started telling the rest of the team that I was the problem, that I was holding them back, and that's when I realized he'd been planting seeds of doubt in everyone's minds. He was trying to turn the whole company against me, That's when I knew things were no longer about the business. This was personal. Jason was trying to take me down, and I had no idea why. But I wasn't going to let it slide. So, I took action. I started reaching out to our clients on my own, without telling him. I started making deals behind his back, too. But instead of going for small wins, I aimed high. I wanted to crush him, and I did. I closed one of the biggest contracts we'd ever seen, worth more than anything Jason had brought in. I didn't tell him about it. Instead, I walked into the office that morning, threw the paperwork on his desk, and said, "Here's the deal we've been waiting for. I closed it. We're moving forward." His face was priceless. But that was just the beginning. After that, I started taking more control of the business, more meetings without him, more deals without him, and, slowly but surely, the team started to notice. They saw who was keeping the business alive, who was making the right calls. And Jason, well, he started to fade into the background. But here's the kicker. I still didn't fire him. I couldn't. Even after everything, I still felt guilty. He was my best friend, and despite everything he'd done, I wasn't ready to cut him out completely. So I kept him around. But now, he was just a shadow of the person I used to know. And then, the final twist came. It was the company retreat. I'd been planning it for months. A chance for everyone to bond, to rebuild. I figured it would be a good opportunity to try and salvage what little was left of the friendship with Jason. But during the retreat, I overheard a conversation between Jason and one of the newer hires. They didn't see me standing there. I wasn't supposed to hear this, but I did. Jason was telling the new hire about all the behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that had been going wrong, the decisions I'd made that were bad for business. And then he dropped the bombshell. "Honestly, I think he's going to try and push me out soon. He's going to take over completely. And when he does, I'm out." Hearing that, something inside me snapped. I was right all along. He wasn't just a business partner. He was an enemy. And the worst part, I still wasn't sure what to do next. Some people say I should have fired him months ago. Others think I should have tried to work things out. But honestly, I'm still questioning whether I made the right choice. After that retreat, I didn't talk to Jason for a week. It was like everything that had happened between us was building to this point. All those little betrayals, all the tension, all the passive-aggressive comments, it had finally come to a head. I wanted to confront him, to end it all and make my move. But a part of me kept holding back. We'd been through too much together. It felt like I was burning a bridge that I couldn't rebuild. But the truth was, I'd already burned it. The moment I started taking control of the business without him, the bridge was gone. So, I decided to let the dust settle for a while. No more passive-aggressive games. No more silent treatment. I needed to be clear. And I needed to be firm. If I was going to push him out, it was going to be on my terms. I scheduled a meeting. I made sure it was just the two of us in the office. I needed to hear it from him directly. When Jason walked in, he didn't seem surprised. In fact, he looked almost resigned, like he knew this day was coming. He sat down across from me, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Finally, I broke the silence. "Jason, we need to talk. I know what you've been saying about me behind my back. I know you've been plotting to take over this business. I'm done pretending like this is just a rough patch. It's not. It's a damn mess." He stared at me, his face unreadable. I couldn't tell if he was angry, hurt, or just tired. "You don't get it, do you?" he said finally. "I wasn't plotting anything. I've been trying to keep this company afloat, and you've been so focused on your stupid numbers that you haven't even noticed the damage you've been causing. I've been trying to get through to you, but all you've done is push me aside. You've pushed everyone aside." I blinked, stunned. This wasn't the confrontation I expected. I thought he was going to beg me to let him stay, or try to justify everything he'd done. But instead, he was flipping the script. He was making it seem like I was the one in the wrong. And honestly, it made me second-guess everything. "Jason, you sabotaged us. You went behind my back, made deals with our competition, and now you're trying to make it look like I'm the problem. I've been holding this business together, man, and you've been dragging it down." He chuckled bitterly, leaning back in his chair. "You think it was just me. You think you've been the hero here. You've been so focused on what you want to do with this business that you didn't even see what was happening in front of you. You didn't see that we were burning out, that we were losing clients, that we were failing. But hey, as long as the numbers look good, right?" The words hit harder than I expected. It wasn't just about the business. It wasn't just about the betrayal anymore. It was about everything I'd ignored, everything I'd failed to see. Looking back, I get it now. Maybe I was too focused on keeping everything running smoothly. Maybe I thought numbers and clients would solve everything. But Jason was right. I wasn't paying attention to the people in the company, the ones who were doing the real work. I wasn't looking out for them. But that didn't excuse what he'd done. That didn't justify him undercutting me, plotting against me, and making everything worse just to get ahead. I stood up, pacing the room, trying to gather my thoughts. This was it. This was the point of no return. "Jason, I can't work with someone who's actively trying to bring me down. I'm done. I can't trust you anymore." For a moment, he didn't say anything. He just looked at me, as if he was waiting for me to change my mind. But I didn't. I couldn't. "So, what now?" he asked, almost calmly. "You're going to fire me. You're going to throw away everything we built." I stopped pacing and looked him in the eye. "Yeah, I am." There was a long silence. Then Jason stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. He didn't yell. He didn't throw anything. He just nodded. "Fine. If that's how you want it." And just like that, he walked out of the office. I didn't feel a sense of relief, though. It wasn't the victory I thought it would be. It was just final. The next few weeks were a blur. I had to clean up the mess he left behind, clients dropping off, contracts that needed to be renegotiated, and a team that was now divided. Some people sided with me, others with him. There were whispers in the halls, and I could feel the shift in the atmosphere. Things were never going to be the same. But the strangest part, I kept thinking about him, about Jason, not the business partner, not the guy who betrayed me, but the friend I once had. I started second-guessing myself. Was I right to push him out? Was I too harsh? Could I have salvaged the relationship? I wasn't sure anymore. Some people say I did the right thing, that I couldn't let him destroy everything I'd worked for. Others think I let my anger blind me, that I could have saved both the business and the friendship. And now, I'm not sure what to think. The business is doing okay now. But what about Jason? Was he really just a business partner? Or was I blind to who he really was? I'll never know. What do you think? Did I go too far, or not far enough?